In this video, I'm going to give you some brutal, honest truth. And this is the truth that will basically set you free and allow you to become the man that you want to be. A lot of you watching this channel have goals, whether it's to date more attractive women, it's to date your ideal woman that has your ideal values, it's to get married, have kids, be a good role model for your children. There's so many different goals going on with guys that watch this channel. Some of you guys have financial and business goals. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you will need to sacrifice in order to achieve those goals. And I don't think a lot of guys understand this. So I just want to have like kind of candid talk with you about sacrifice and how important it is. The first thing I want you guys to take from this video, and I want you to write this down, is that we are competing for resources. Like we're all men watching this channel, and men compete for resources. We compete for money, we compete for status, we compete for the emotions that come with relationships and women. We compete for all of those things. Like a woman will be with you because you are better. No one's going to tell you this because they're too nice, but women will stay with you because you're better than the other men. That's why she's with you, right? If there were completely obviously better options, then she wouldn't be with you in the first place. And so we just have to accept that this is a competition. And so that's where sacrifice comes in, because there are so many men that are just like you, that are in the exact same position as you, same genetics, same everything, that have an extraordinary ability to sacrifice pleasure now for long-term growth and success. There are men out there that are just like you, that are going to achieve 5 to 10 times more than you in every area of life because they're willing to give up and change things about their life that would be difficult, challenging, and honestly like very brutal to go through, like brutal changes. I'm talking there are guys out there that are willing to completely cut their family off if their family's toxic. They're willing to completely cut everyone off for 5 to 10 years in order to achieve success. And maybe that's what they have to do. There are people out there, there are young men out there that have moved out of home at the age of 17 because their family holds them back. And there are people that are willing to do those things. And so that should be kind of scary. There's a lot of psychos out there that are willing to do whatever it takes to win. And so when you come up with excuses for why you still haven't given up video games, or why you still haven't given up Netflix or YouTube binging, or you come up with excuses for why you still drink when you go out, or why you still smoke weed because it helps with your anxiety. When you give me those reasons and you tell yourself those things as, I can't give these things up because I just couldn't do it. They're doing something good for me. Just realize that there is someone out there that is willing to give those things up, that likes smoking weed just as much as you do, but they're willing to give it up because they want something greater way more. So I want to talk about what sacrifice really is as well, because sacrifice is not giving up things that you didn't really like that much in the first place. I'm not telling you to sacrifice doing the dishes, sacrifice cleaning my apartment. Like, that's not a sacrifice. That's just like getting that out of the way, like paying someone to do it or getting someone else to do it, right? Like, that's not sacrificing because you don't like it, right? To sacrifice something, to truly sacrifice and get the benefits that come from sacrifice, you have to give up things that you like. You have to give up things that bring you like joy and happiness, like short-term gratification, right? You have to give those things up. And chances are there are 3 to 5 behaviors that you're still engaging in, that you're still justifying, that you are not willing to give up. And if you did give those things up, you would get everything you wanted in life. So some of you could give up video games and it would be easier to get sleep. And then it'd be easier to not eat junk food late at night. And then it'd be easier to not smoke weed because you don't feel like a loser. And you haven't had all this blue light like bombarding your eyeballs all night. And so you can just get to sleep normally because you're not playing video games anymore. You don't need to smoke weed before bed. Chances are there are those very few vital behaviors that are keeping you from getting the results you actually want. The reason you can't sleep is not because you're too stressed from work. The reason you're stressed at work is because you're low on sleep and you can't perform and you're worried about your job getting taken away because you play video games and that makes it so you can't sleep. So you have to smoke weed and you're doing like 5 to 10 bad habits on top of that keep you from making the changes you need to make. And so you have to take a very realistic look at your life and actually ask yourself, like, what is the thing that I love the most that is holding me back from performing at work and getting a promotion? The thing that's holding me back from approaching women and starting a relationship? The thing that's holding me back the most from making a new high-value friend or getting in a better shape and fixing my health? There's something that you love right now that's holding you back from starting your own business that you've always wanted to start, right? If you're one of those guys that like, I always wanted to start my own business, and the thing that always held me back was video games. I loved video games. I still probably do love video games. I love playing video games, but I'm not doing it anymore. I've given it up. I've sacrificed it. And the reason is because it's the thing I love the most that's holding me back from getting what I really want. And there's probably other things that I really like doing that I'm going to have to sacrifice if I want a certain level of success. And so if you can accept that life is a competition, you're constantly competing for resources, you're constantly competing for relationships, you're constantly competing for other people's time. And so out of all those habits that I listed, out of all those things that you could be sacrificing, when I was talking about those, you probably had something in the back of your head. You probably had something that you knew, whether it's alcohol, video games, weed, that you knew you should cut out, that you've known for a long time you should cut out. And the scary part is that you haven't cut it out yet. You know what's holding you back. You just haven't done anything about it yet. And so if you're one of those guys that's struggling with self-worth and lacking self-respect, then that's probably the root cause of that. Okay, so I really want you to think about that. How could you actually respect yourself when you know exactly what change needs to happen, but you're not willing to give up the pleasure of making that change in order to actually get long-term success that you want? So if you want a girlfriend and you want a girlfriend so bad and you're going to bed alone every night and you feel like shit about yourself because of that every single day, it's keeping you depressed, you're lonely, you're sad, you're anxious all the time because you don't know when the next time a girl's gonna like you. You're feeling all these feelings and you know deep down that that's self-inflicted. You know deep down that that is something that you're doing to yourself because you have not made the changes you need to make yet. How are you going to respect yourself that way? So what I want you to really realize is that thing that's in the back of your head that you're not willing to get rid of. That thing that you love, that thing that you hold closest to your heart, that's instant gratification. You need to give that up. Your deepest addiction and your deepest love is what you need to give up to achieve any level of success that you're going to be happy and fulfilled with as a man. I'm not talking about giving up relationships that are healthy for you. I'm not talking about, oh, I love cooking good food. I love cooking like very healthy food. Like that's not something to sacrifice. What you should be sacrificing is the thing that's bad that you love the most, right? And that's going to be the thing that's the hardest to sacrifice because it's the thing you're the most addicted to. Some of you guys are going to be social media. Some of you guys, it's going to be junk food. Some of you guys are binge eating every single night, right? I know what that's like. Some of you guys are just addicted to video games. Some of you guys are addicted to Netflix. Whatever that is, weed or alcohol, you need to cut that out. Your deepest addiction is the thing that's holding you back and the thing that you're justifying the most. So I actually have a solution for this. I want to give you very practical advice in this video. The solution to sacrificing that thing that you know is the only solution, that thing that you know you need to sacrifice, and until you sacrifice this one thing, you're never going to get what you want. What you need to do is make sacrifice your new addiction. You need to gamify sacrifice. How much can I sacrifice? How much pain can I put myself through? And that's what I've done for myself, and it's amazing. I love it. I think it's so fun. How can I sacrifice more? How can I make myself even more challenged? How can I make life even harder? Because the fact is, when I make life harder, my life gets easier over time. I get stronger. And so average life is no longer hard for me. What's hard for me is the life that I create for myself that's even more challenging. I want you to picture a version of yourself that has no limitations, no consequences, no negative impact from giving things up. You're just seeing this person from the outside, all right? So you're not dealing with their inner turmoil. You don't know what they're thinking, but it's still you. And I want you to picture him giving up drinking or smoking weed or video games or Netflix and devoting all of his time to his purpose, devoting all of his time to his growth as a man, to become a stronger, more powerful, charismatic man. When you clear your head of all of those addictions, you picture that guy, this man, this version of yourself that's completely given up on everything that brings him instant gratification. How much easier is it for that man to work towards his goals? How much easier is it for that man to remain objective and calm and relaxed when he's challenged by the woman he's with? How much easier is it for him to be the one that everyone looks to as a leader? How much easier is it for him to go to the gym no matter how he feels? How much more respect does that man get from other people than you do right now? Because I guarantee that man that you're picturing gets a lot more respect than you've ever gotten in your entire life. And it's because he's willing to give up things that make him happy for results, for things that he knows will bring him fulfillment. And that's what you need to do. You need to sacrifice things to get respect from others and from yourself. Like, guys will ask me all the time, how do I become the man that women chase and that women like? How do I stop having to chase women all the time and like feeling anxious, shy, and lonely and sad? How do I stop the depression, right? They'll ask me all these questions, and the answer is simple. You have to sacrifice the old things that kept yourself obsessed and addicted. You have to sacrifice all those things that you were addicted to as your old self and start focusing on new things that you can become addicted to, like discipline, sacrifice, focus, like things that actually bring fulfillment, character traits that build you up into a better person. That's how you do it. You can't just sacrifice 99%. I've used this example before, but I've given up video games multiple times, and it wasn't until I gave up YouTube content about video games that I actually made a long-lasting change in my life. And that's because I made that extra 100% sacrifice. You can't just sacrifice 99%. You have to sacrifice 100% of what you think is fun. You have to sacrifice 100% of that thing you are most deeply addicted to if you ever want to make a full transformation. So I want you to take that knowledge and just know that every time you justify to yourself that, this habit, I know it's bad for me, but I like it though. I like it so much. Can I just give up something else? Can I just give up something else instead? Every time you look for other things to sacrifice instead of this one core sacrifice that you need to make, you're choosing to stay the same. You have to sacrifice the thing that you hold the dearest. You have to sacrifice the thing that brings you the most instant gratification. And that's what people don't talk about with sacrifice. You can't just sacrifice doing the dishes, like I said earlier. You can't sacrifice that. You have to sacrifice something that is deep and core to who you are, to your old self. The thing that you're the most addicted to, like your deepest addiction, you have to sacrifice that if you want real lasting results and you want to feel like a man. Because that's what real men do. That's what men that want to achieve greatness do. And if you don't want to achieve greatness, that's totally fine, but my content won't be for you. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, comment below, let me know what you want to see from me in the future, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.